Over the last month and a half, cricket fans have been lucky to witness one of the best test series in a long time. This was the 24-25 Border Gavaskar Trophy. So much pride, so much dignity, a World Test Championship final spot in contention. Coming into Sydney, Australia was leading 2-1, and both teams decided that it was time to finally drop to dead weight. For Australia, that meant finally cutting Mitch Marsh's long rope and giving Will Webster a chance to show his skills. For India, that meant Rohit Sharma sitting out, and leadership fell back on Jasprit Bumrah. With almost everyone striking below 50, the Indians tried to be resilient and bat long, but one by one they all fell without adding much to the score, and it took a late Bumrah flourish for them to reach the score of 185. Things weren't too different on the other end of Australia either. They too did not manage to hit many runs, and Will Webster impressed on debut with 57, but they still fell 4 runs short of India's first innings solo. So many wickets had already fallen, and quickly a test that many people feared might be a draw due to rain was sure to have a result. The biggest takeaway, however, was Jasprit Bumrah limping off with an injury. Now this SCG track was clearly not one of the best, and I think the management had realized that because clearly the Indians were looking to play it quick rather than long. It was another disappointing display, especially from the likes of Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli, who in Australia I have very high hopes from. Rishabh Pant's quick fire 61 off almost half the balls felt like it could change momentum, but a lower order punch did not really give as many runs as India would have hoped for, and Australia were left with a target of only 161. That too without having to face Jasprit Bumrah. Now given the track, 161 was not a small total by any chance, and it could have been challenging, but simply speaking, without someone like Jasprit Bumrah present, people like Usman Khawaja seemed to flourish. A 40 from him and unbeaten 30s from Head and Webster were just too much, and India lost with 6 wickets. Marked the end of a disappointing tour. Now honestly speaking, losing to Australia in Australia is not a big deal. India's been an amazing touring side over there for the last decade, and a result like this is fine, especially when you consider a few of the matches were quite closely fought. But I think people are less concerned about the result as they are by the approach to the games. In a weird way, Rohit Sharma's absence in the last match was a positive for Indian fans. It signaled that despite India being a great test team over the last few years, they will take performances into account and not just names. This does now put a lot of pressure on Virat Kohli, who again has not been performing at his best, but more frustratingly has been out the same way match and match again. Take into account the fourth match where he decided that he was not going to touch anything outside off. He finally looked nice and fluent and in good rhythm to put up a good score. But soon as the Jaiswal run out happened and he lost concentration, it reset and he once again fell to his impulse. There's a whole reason why Virat Kohli tends to get out outside off more, and we will get into that hopefully in a separate video as we break down his own recent history. Personally, my disappointment lies more with someone like Shubman Gill, who feels like he's getting himself out more than the bowlers. He's perfectly suited to these tracks, and when he gets a start you just feel like he's playing the right shots, but some form of brain fade comes in, and he's also been very unlucky with the matches he's played. He's always played on the terrible tracks, but it's still kind of frustrating as a fan. The Indian test team is under a microscope now more than ever before. And besides Jasprit Bumrah and Yashasvi Jaiswal, no other player feels like they have any long rope with them. But all this makes for a great test showing, and one of the highlights for me in this test series was Sam Constant's arrival in the 4th test. Until that point you had the Australian bowling attack, which was obviously on fire game in game out, and shout out to Scott Bowling in the last few games. He's been amazing and even got picked up as match in this last one. But on the batting front, Australia really felt like they struggled. There were odd innings here and there from Marnus and Smith, but neither of them felt like they would go on a roll and dominate. And it was just Travis Head at first who was giving India more trauma. But when Sam Constance came in, he actually took the fight to the Indian bowlers, and specifically Jasprit Bumrah, and that was very fun to see. Things may not have panned out from there, but there was more fun in the contest than there was in the last many games combined. And once again we had that over here, and Jasprit Bumrah finally showing some emotions. It's a fresh change of pace. With such fiery test cricket on the horizon, it's no wonder that Jay Shah wants a 2-tier test system. For now, Indian test lovers will have to wait patiently on the horizon as they witness the World Test Championship finals as a spectator for the first time. Meanwhile, Steve Smith leads a relatively inexperienced side to Sri Lanka for the test series as the main stars gear up for a World Test Championship final against South Africa, who look in great form. Like the rest of the world, both teams will now be looking at the Champions Trophy for a chance at more silverware, this time in a shorter format. The series as a whole was a great advertisement for cricket in general, and hopefully we have more great series to come. You can be sure that we'll be here covering them all at K Entertainment. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content, and comment on what your favorite parts of the Border Gavaskar series were. Thanks for watching. See you next time.